Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Happy Monday. I hope you all are having a great start to the week. I hope you all had a relaxing and phenomenal weekend. It is Monday, October 13th, 2025, and welcome to another episode of Monday Evening Quarterback. You guys know why I'm here. It's another week to be able to break down the game that I very much love and have loved since I was the age of 6 years old. My name is Christian Simpson, and I am the creator. I'm the founder. I'm the NFL and college football analyst. I'm a blogger. I'm a radio contributor, and just like a lot of you, I'm an overall fan of the sport. And I started a company back in 2010 called the Daily Blitz, where we specialize in all things football 24/7, 365. It's another week to be able to talk about the sport. Once again, I want to thank everybody that's been following along from the get-go. And if this is your first time tuning in and you were referred to me, 1, thank you for taking a referral. 2, thank you to whoever referred you to me. And if you are liking what you were hearing, I need you to do 2 things. 1, I need you to go to the site, which is thedailyblitz.blog, enter your email address, and anything I post to the site will get sent to your inbox. And then for anybody who's liking what they're hearing, and if you want to keep up with Monday Evening Quarterback, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Twitch, and the Nerdport Network. Always want to say Blog Talk Radio, but I know we're not with them anymore. So here's how the show's going to go. Week 7 of college football is in the books, and what a weekend it was. I can't wait to talk about it. There was a big firing in the sport. We're going to discuss that a little bit, do a little look ahead to Week 8. And in the NFL, we're going to talk about what caught my eye in Week 7. And there's 2 more Monday Night Football games tonight. The Bills go to the A to play the Atlanta Falcons at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And then Hail Maryland. There we go. That sounds a lot better. Part 2, Chicago Bears, Washington Commanders. You guys remember the epic finish last year when Jaden Daniels threw the Hail Mary to Noah Brown, and the Commanders walked that game off. We're going to go to the phone lines, and then I'm going to end the show, and then I'm going to be on my way to go do the Prime. So with that being said, let's dive right in. First, let's get that big piece of news out the way. James Franklin is out at Penn State. Ain't that something? Oh, man. He just couldn't win the big game there. I know he was a game away from the national championship last season, but would things change in a year? And looking at his numbers when he was with Penn State, he only beat Ohio State once, and that was 2016. I remember that. And Penn State went on to win their conference, and everything just kind of went their way from there. I remember that game too. I remember where I was when that was going on. But after that, he never beat them. And the crazy thing is, with Penn State, they came in with so many expectations. I mean, Drew Allard comes back. Katron Allen comes back. Nicholas Singleton. And you know how much I've raved about those guys. But that's the thing. I look at it like this. Couldn't beat a top. He couldn't beat a top 10 team, really. Couldn't beat a top 5 team. He had an opportunity to beat a top 5 team a couple of weeks ago when Oregon came to Happy Valley. Couldn't do it. Losing to UCLA when that was supposed to be a get-right game. That's when I knew something wasn't right. And then Saturday they lose to Northwestern. They also did lose Drew Alla for the remainder of the year. Wishing him a speedy recovery. I can't say I'm really shocked. He was 4-21 against top 10 teams and 1-18 against top 10 teams in the Big 12, in the Big 10, excuse me. Losing to Northwestern, I think, was the icing on the cake. They were a 21-point favorite. And yeah, I just can't get it. I mean, they're paying him $50 million to not coach. So they pretty much bought him out. If I'm Penn State, there are a couple guys I target, and Curt Cignetti isn't one of them. I don't think he's leaving Indiana. He has too good of a thing going on, but I think he would be a nice fit there. Mike Elko, potentially, depending on what Texas A&M does. See, I do want to say Manny Diaz, but I don't know. I think he fits more of the molding of a really good coordinator and not a head coach. You got to have that it factor to be a head coach. Lane Kiffin, but I don't see it happening. I think he has too good of a thing going on with Ole Miss. So, yeah. This, I can't say I'm not surprised, but the fact that they did it so soon is pretty surprising. Penn State was projected to be a contender this year, and they struggled. When the season started, they were ranked second in the country. Now, they've lost 3 games in a row. They're not ranked. They'll be lucky to even make excuse me. They'll be lucky to even make a bowl game, if I'm being completely honest with you. But yeah, James Franklin is out at Penn State. Kind of sticking with the Big Ten. Ohio State, man. Now, entering the game against Illinois, their defense, which I think is the best in the country, had only allowed 25 total points. Let that sink in. And it's one thing to, lose a coordinator, have to buy into another, but this Ohio State group has bought into what Matt Patricia, yes, the Matt Patricia that used to coach under Bill Belichick in New England. They bought into him quickly, and they have been absolutely phenomenal this year, not giving up too many opportunities, haven't given up a red zone touchdown. I don't think they've given up a rushing touchdown. Well, now they did. They just gave up their first on Saturday. They did win that game, 34-16. That's not 41 total points that Ohio State has given up. And this defense is so good, I really wouldn't be crazy to think that they could repeat, because defense does win championships. Illinois just didn't have it. on Saturday. Julian Sand just kind of had to control things. 19 to 27, 166 yards, 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions. Luke Altmaier, not the greatest day at the office. 30 of 44, 248 yards. Excuse me. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Bo Jackson, no, that's actually his name. 10 carries, 47 yards. Neither team could really get the running game going. But, Ohio State's defense, they forced 3 turnovers. Anything Ohio State wanted, they got. They turned those 3 takeaways into 21 points, and they left with another victory. Like I said, 34 to 16. Illinois is now 5-2. Ohio State 6-0, sticking with the Big Ten. Now, the game of the day took place in Eugene, Oregon. Game day was there. Indiana Hoosiers, Oregon Ducks. Indiana. I'm a firm believer in, okay, you did it once, do it again. That's just always my mindset, because I need to see more before I can crown you anything. And look, everyone who follows the sport knows that Oregon and Autzen Stadium, that's one of the strongest home field advantages in the country. Oregon doesn't really lose a lot of games against Indiana. I mean, at home. You really have to come with it, if you want to take them down at home. And, man, this Indiana team has been really good. Saturday was my first time getting the chance to see Fernando Mendoza play. This Indiana team, they play with a lot of balance and trust in one another. Elijah Surratt is a true number 1 receiver, and I can't wait to see what he does at the next level. Then you have Oregon on the other side. Oregon, they play with balance. They want to move with tempo. They want to move with pace. So coming into this game, I said this was going to come down to who could establish the tempo of this game in their favor. And that was Indiana. Indiana played with a lot of tempo. They got the ball out on the perimeter. They ran the ball. They attacked the middle with the tight ends. There was no way Indiana could win this game, right? They did. Indiana won this game by 10, 30 to 20. Fernando Mendoza, 20 of 31, 215 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He did throw an interception. Dante Moore, now, I've liked what I've seen from him, but I think he's still missing something. I don't sense aggressiveness with him. 21 of 34, 186 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. And, you give Indiana's defense all the credit in the world, because Indiana, they kept everything underneath. The minute an Oregon receiver had the ball, they were brought down right away. Malik Benson was the leading receiver for Oregon. 1 reception, 41 yards, and he did catch a touchdown. Did a pretty good job of keeping Decorian Moore in check. 4 receptions, only 39 yards, and no touchdowns. But the thing I think that really got me, he was my X factor coming into this game. Why didn't Oregon get Kenyon Sadiq involved a little more? He's the best tight end in the country, but his skill set will make you think he was a wide receiver, because he's quicker than your normal tight ends. He's not as big and not as husky. He can catch the ball. He maneuvers well in space with the football in his hands. He can block. Oregon has many weapons, but there's only one, Kenyon Sadiq. Only had 2 receptions, 21 yards. Could have created a lot of mismatches with him, but this is an absolutely humongous win for Indiana. The ability to fly across the country, playing on the West Coast, is not easy. And leaving Autzen with a victory. Kurt Signetti does it again. He's such a good coach, and he just coached circles around Dan Lanning in this game on Saturday. Remember, Indiana did win this game by a score of 30-20. Can't wait to see how this all pans out. And believe it or not, Indiana, they don't play Michigan. They don't play Ohio State. I think the only time they would see Ohio State is in the conference title game, which would damn near be a home game for them because it's at Lucas Oil in Indianapolis. But such an impressive win. I thought this was the best win I saw all weekend. Another game I previewed, Alabama, Missouri. I like what I'm seeing from Alabama. I know a lot of people might not, but it just seems like they've climbed the ladder each and every week ever since the loss to Florida State. Ty Simpson, to me, is a bona fide Heisman candidate. And he did it again on Saturday. 23 of 31. 200 yards passing. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Jam Miller, 20 carries, 85 yards. And Latzier Brooks, 4 receptions, 58 yards. And on the Missouri side, Bo Pribula, there we go. 16 completions, 28 attempts, 167 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, with one of those being the game-sealing division. This game-sealing interception. Bo was also your leading rusher. So I got to give Alabama a lot of credit because they neutralized Ahmad Hardy, who is by far the best running back in the country, and held him to only 52 yards rushing. Yeah, Alabama, they got back to playing bully ball. They want to run the ball. They want to win in the trenches defensively. They're improving as the week goes on. This is 3 big wins for Alabama. You beat Georgia in Georgia. You beat Vanderbilt last week. And you beat Missouri. 2 of those 3 wins came on the road. Yeah. And it just looks like they've really bought into what it is that Kalen DeBoer has instilled in them. And most importantly, I'm seeing that tough, hard-nosed brand of football from the Alabama Crimson Tide. They leave Columbia with a 3-point victory. It was close all the way throughout. Let's go to Red River. Oklahoma, Texas. And look, I'll admit to you guys, I was kind of down about not previewing this because I think I've previewed the Red River rivalry the last 3 or 4 years or so. But Texas is unranked. Oklahoma ranks 6th in the country. And I just have a question. Texas, where's this effort been all year long? Didn't do this against Ohio State. Could have done this last week against Florida. That would have been a really good tune-up for you. But you played your way out of the top 25. Arch Manning, this was by far the best he's looked all season long. 21 to 27, 166 yards passing, and 1 touchdown. And finally, he didn't turn the ball over. Quintravian Wisner, 22 carries, 94 yards. As a team, Texas ran the ball for 138 yards. On the Oklahoma side, John Mattia, he did come back after injuring his throwing hand, had surgery. I mean, look, I don't blame you for wanting to come back for a game of this magnitude. But he threw 3 interceptions. I don't think Josh should have played in this game. He didn't give them the best chance to win. Torrey Blaylock was your leading rusher, 33 yards on 11 carries. Deion Burks was your leading receiver for Oklahoma with 64 yards. And DeAndre Moore Jr. was your leading receiver for the Longhorns. Could this be the win that jumpstarts Texas? I don't know. We shall find out. But yeah, that's a big time win for Oklahoma. Texas Tech just continues to handle their business. 42-17. Texas Tech just continues to roll. Cameron Dickey, 21 carries, 263 yards. Barron Morton just kind of had to control things. 7-12, 91 yards, and he did throw a touchdown pass. This Texas Tech team they're fun. They're fun to watch. They play together. They play well as a unit, cohesively, and defensively. They can make you one-dimensional. We saw that in Utah a couple of weeks ago when they played the Utes. Down goes Michigan. Michigan was upset in California, 31-13. USC is 5-1. Wow. USC is 5-1. Jaden Maeva. What a game. 25-32. 265 yards passing. 2 touchdowns, and he did throw a pick. Bryce Underwood deserves so much better, and give USC's defense a lot of credit because they really kept Justice Haynes in check. Held him under 100 yards rushing. Held him only to 51 yards. Excuse me. So yeah, it was definitely a very entertaining day of college football. Texas A&M handled their business against Florida, 34-17. Georgia, I got a bone to pick with you. You needed 20 unanswered points in the second half to spoil Cam Newton's jersey retirement night ceremony. And congrats to Cam, by the way. Yeah, I do not like the way Georgia played in this game. Yeah, they won, but I wasn't impressed. They did win 20-10. Say it all the time, but part of me thinks they were looking ahead to Ole Miss, who they do play next week. That's where game day will be, and then that's where I will be as well. I will be previewing that game along with the third Saturday in October, which is the Tennessee Volunteers against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Got a little SEC dual threat action on deck. Georgia Tech continues to roll. They're 6-0. Utah dominates against Arizona State. Colorado comes away with one. And Florida State, stick a fork in them. They're 0-3 in conference play. Pittsburgh won 34-31. I want to know, what caught your eye in college football this weekend? Let me know. Send it to me, and I may even shout you out next time I record. But yeah, that's all I pretty much have for college football. Covered James Franklin, talked about Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, Illinois. Talked about a little bit of everything that really grabbed my attention. We're going to go to the phone lines, enjoy the music. When I get back, we're going to be talking some National Football League. So stay tuned. This is Monday Evening Quarterback on Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, and the Nerdport Network. I'll be right back.